Hi there, my name is Beck, and the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So I did a live stream last night at 5 o'clock, and it went pretty well. I think I'm going to make them a regular feature, like 5 o'clock UK time, or let's say Tuesdays and Thursdays. We'll give that a try. If you guys like it, you will definitely do more. I aims to please. Honestly, just tell me what you want, I'll do it. I'm really happy to. I'm really happy that you watch my video. Genuinely am. I'm like it's always nice to know that your work isn't for nothing. And I was asked a pretty good question in the comments, which was by John Steed. Great name, John Steed. You are needed. Let me tell you, John Steed, you're needed. He asked me, Rabbi, I have to tell you, my favourite thing about having this channel, and it's so vain, it's really embarrassing. No one's ever called me Rabbi, ever. Okay, and I never thought I really needed it. I never okay, I'll tell you a funny story. I used to in the 90s. I went to a rabbinical school in Jerusalem called Aish Torah, which was set up essentially for people who weren't religious, were a bit Jew curious, and they basically offered you free food and accommodation, and you attend classes. So I was touring Israel, and I went to the Wailing Wall, as people do. I had long hair at the time. If I say so myself, I did look very cool in my youth. Somebody who was there at Aish Torah, they asked me, look, would you be interested in coming to classes? And I knew they were trying to proselytize to me, right? Okay, but I've always been kind of open-minded into whatever anybody wants to say. I'm always interested to hear other people's theology, philosophy, their point of view. I was with them when I was younger as well. So I said, yeah, why not? Listen, I go and listen to anybody else. Well, I'll listen to my own heritage. So and I didn't expect to be convinced. That's the thing. I wasn't religious at the time. I just didn't expect to be convinced at all. I was like, wow, they put together pretty good a few good points. And as you can tell, I'm now right. So anyway, no one's ever called me Rabbi ever, and so it reminds me. So I was there for a few years. I got married, and there's I won't mention his name because I don't know if he wants to be publicly associated with me. But we're friends. But there's a particularly high level rabbi who worked there. Very brilliant man. But he wasn't precious about having the title rabbi. So one day, my wife, we were newly married, was working in the office there, and the first guy comes in and says, "Hello, Rabbi so and so. Hello, Rabbi so and so. Hello." And then this guy's there, and she says, "Oh, hello," and she says his first name, because this is how because he didn't want to overly inflate himself. So he says, "Look, excuse me, I'm not gonna." After they left, he says, "I'm not gonna make an issue of it at all." Yes, it's funny. The three people you called Rabbi don't actually have smicha, like the rabbinic ordination. Well, I actually do, and he did. So it's the same thing. So nobody's ever called me Rabbi before, but it's really cool. It's actually I have more people calling me Rabbi now than people call my local rabbi Rabbi, which is crazy. Okay, fine. There we go. It says, Rabbi, I'd like to ask you which stories are best to start with in Big Finish. Just starting to get back into it, which is a darn good question. Thank you, John Steed. And so I started thinking, how would I approach this video? How would I, what's the best way of going about it? And the thing is, there's just too much. I totally see Big Finish is like a wall of content, and it's mostly very good. It's always I'll say 95% is above average, and I'll say good. I don't know, 30% of their output are absolute gems, but I'll say 95% are worth listening. But there's just so much different stuff out there, and it's all pretty darn good. So this is going to have to be a few videos going into a few different ranges and basically walking you through it. So the first question you really need to ask yourself is, what Doctor Who are you in the mood for? What Doctor Who do you like? Where are you there? That's the first fundamental question you've got to ask yourself to know which direction to go in. But you know what's always a great direction to go in? I waited far too long. I'm nearly 5 minutes in. Waited far too long before I put that up. Can you guys hit the subscribe button. That would be fan-dabby-double-dozy. Thank you very much. I am very appreciative. As we're talking about audio adventures, go check out the video notes. There is a Big Finish, not Big Finish, there is a Doctor Who audio adventure that you can download, starring Nicholas Briggs as the Doctor. I change them every few weeks, every couple of weeks. I got a whole bunch of them. If you want to go back through my videos, you'll be able to get the rest. Or just email me, and I will, also ask me in the comments. I will send you links to the other one. That one's called Minuet in Hell, and it was remade by Big Finish for Paul McGann. This version, I think, is a little bit better. Also, I like to show you my appreciation, and I give stuff away on this channel every week. Stuff I'm giving away this week, if I say so myself, particularly splendid. It is the Jon Pertwee Adventure Carnival of Monsters Special Edition. So it's a 2-disc set. Tons of really great extras. Look at that drastic action on the cover. You know, I got my my character options drashing up there. Next time I tell people about this, I will go get that down. I hold it. And so all you need to do to win it, I digress. All you need to do to win it is subscribe to the channel. Subscribe, and then in the comments, use the hashtag miniscope. Miniscope. People have been putting all kinds of weird things in that miniskirt. Look, everybody, you get close. I put you in the hat. Don't worry. But check the video notes. Just cut and paste. You'll get it right. It's fine. It's got all the information. We'll do the giveaway on, was it the 17th when I'm on Noel's channel, the TARDIS Zone. I think this week we're talking about Fires of Pompeii. Yay! Okay, let's talk about Big Finish. Big Finish. So, if you're a newbie to Big Finish, like as you see this wall of Doctor Who, where do you start? So you ask yourself, what Doctor Who you're in the mood for. So let's say you're a fan of the new series, right? You're a fan of the new series, and you'd like to hear something representative of what Big Finish does with Doctor Who. So I'm in another video. I'm going to I'll go over the stuff they do that directly ties into the 2005 series onwards. But look, they do have some very good stuff there, but I don't think you're going to get that right vibe that you enjoy from the new series. I'm going to recommend you look at the Paul McGann videos, which is audios, which is what we're going to exclusively look at in this video. I'm going to walk you through that entire range and tell you, hopefully give you a direction on which way to go. So the reason that I think this is a good range for newbie people who aren't that familiar with Big Finish output is the up until Paul McGann came on, they were doing they were working with previous Doctors. Tom Bacon wasn't in yet, but they had Sir McCoy, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, and what they did very, very well is recreate the feeling of that era. They recreate that feeling of, you know, you really feel like you're listening to Peter Davison story of Colin Baker, and it is organically fits in. They're really excellent, and when they do the older stories like the Hartnell, the Troughton, the Pertwee, they did really seamlessly feel exactly like that era. But yeah, I understand if you're into new like the new series, that's going to be a little bit foreign to you. So I think you've got to ease yourself in. But so with the McGann range, it was them doing consciously having trying to move Doctor Who forward, bring it into a new direction, and it was very contemporary to the time. So there's a lot of I think these are a few actual lost eras that people just don't think about. So let me walk you through them. So they first started off with a season. They were big. Paul McGann had almost mostly been in seasons. Again, because it's really trying to emulate a feeling of moving forward and being, you know, a new contemporary Doctor Who. So it really, when it started off, it was very it felt very of the moment. It was 2002. Very, very of the moment. Very, very contemporary. And I just kind of worked. So now is 20 years older. It feels kind of dated, you know. But you see the antecedents for the current Doctor Who within it. It's got the same, you know, current Doctor Who was always written to the modern audience, which this Doctor Who is, this Paul McGann is. So yeah, the first story is first season. They have 4 stories. There's Storm Morning, Sword of Orion, Stones of Venice, and Minuet in Hell. And again, they're all trying to push things forward. So if you really want to start at the beginning, Storm Morning, that's actually a pretty good story. Sword of Orion, I would say almost as good. But again, you when you're listening, you're imagining it with like very contemporary special effects on TV, and it really just worked. The best of this opening season is Stones of Venice, in my opinion. Again, it's very, very subjective. It's just I really, really enjoyed that. Sorry, who wrote that? Paul Maggs, I think. I'm looking at the cover now, see if it says. Oh, you know what? I'm actually going to open the page. Let's see, doink. Let's see who wrote it. I think it's Paul Maggs. It feels like Paul Maggs. It was written by Paul Maggs or Magars. How do you pronounce his name? So Stones of Venice, and then the final one was Minuet in Hell, which had the Brigadier in. It was very, very strongly emulating Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the it sci-fi show of the time. And this was a massive failure. That's a massive failure. This is for completers only. I talked about it recently in what's the most sexist moment in Big Finish range, and it's that story. It's 100% that story. Then this other crime that's only slightly beats, and the sexism only beats out with is the terrible accent. But in general, it's a new season that's moving forward, and then they did a second season, which I think is far more successful. Started off with Invaders from Mars. Which is like it ties into what's his name, the War of the Worlds on Orson Welles' War of the Worlds in was it 1930s, 1940? The radio broadcast when people thought that aliens were really invading. So set to the backdrop of that is a real kind of alien invasion. It's written by Mark Gatiss, tons of fun. Then you have Chimes of Midnight, which is a bona fide classic of the era. This is one of my annual Christmas stories I listen to every year. I love Christmas. Then you got Seasons of Fear, which is by, I believe, Paul Cornell, who is still in the naughty corner, but he writes such good Doctor Who. Yeah, it's incredibly good Doctor Who. So it feels like the return of the Nyman, and it's really good. It's just really good. And then you got Embrace of Darkness, I believe that was by Nick Briggs. I can't believe I'm not looking this up and going from memory. That's really scary that I know this off the top of my head. Embrace of that one I really don't remember much about. It's an interesting idea. It's a planet where there's in complete darkness, as I recall, but I don't remember much. It was kind of like the hard sci-fi one of the season. And finally, they brought the Daleks in, Time of the Daleks, which is a weird one. It's a really, really weird one where the Daleks are speaking in Shakespearean sonnets. It's strange enough. I actually think it really works quite well. It's a very, very. I like weirder, more interesting stories. So who wrote that one? Justin Richards. Okay, yeah, I can totally say. So who wrote? Go and check Seasons of Fear. I'm pretty sure it's Paul Cornell. Paul Cornell and Carolyn Simcox, his wife, wrote it. Again, it's a really good story. So if you're starting off with you want to start with these first two. So before I get there, so it ends on a cliffhanger, which reveals this ancient Gallifreyan evil. Oh no, it ends on a cliffhanger with the next story, which is Neverland, which it brings in this ancient Gallifreyan evil, and that one ends on a cliffhanger and goes into Zagreus, which is like the big season finale. It's a multi-Doctor adventure. I think it was Big Finish's 50th story. That's not so great. That was a little bit disappointing. You have the other Doctors in it, but you have the other actors who play the Doctor in it, but they're playing non-Doctor roles, and it's. Look, the thing about Big Finish, they're always pushing, experimenting, and trying to do new things while keeping it in context of Doctor Who that we love. And I think it just, generally speaking, works. Now, his companion for all this was Charlotte Pollard, who's a bit of a kind of a refugee from Downton Abbey. A little bit. She fits. Their relationship is pretty good and good and interesting. But after. So that was like the initial Paul McGann 2 seasons. They're only $2.99 each to buy on download. The best ones, okay, Stones of Venice, that's my favorite. Storm Warning, it's good. It basically sets up the premises, and you get the feel of it. Sword of Orion, it's always fun to see a bit of ice. Whereas Invaders from Mars. Challenge of Midnight. All these are see this is Big Finish. I'm just recommending all the ones I can totally recommend. Seasons of Fear, and then Time of the Daleks is a really interesting one. I would, and then you have was it Neverland? Yeah, okay. I think, but okay, from Zagreus onwards, or the Neverland ends on the cliffhanger. You need to get to Zagreus to finish. And this got Rassilon in it, and they have I can't remember the name of who plays him. He's very, very, very good. He was in Rising Damp. He's got this wonderful fruity voice. I'm just looking up the cast right now. Oh my god, there's a big cast. Wow, there's so many people in this. Don Warrington. Don Warrington he, plays Rassilon, and he is perfect, perfect casting for Rassilon. His voice just carries it, and also it's kind of fun when at the beginning of Zagreus, he says previously on Doctor Who, which you hadn't heard at the time because Doctor Who was off the air at this time, it hadn't come back yet, but it's still very contemporary. So after that, they go into this called the Divergent arc, which I think is probably the weakest that they did for Paul McGann. Starts off with this very interesting book called I don't know how to pronounce it. Scherzo, which is basically it's a two-hander between India Fisher, Charlotte Pollard companion, and Paul McGann. It's again experimental, and they kept being experimental and interesting. But again, I would say it's all skippable. It's entirely skippable. So in this season we have Scherzo, the Creed of the Chromon, which is it's not bad. It's not a bad. So it's just nothing incredible. It also introduces a new companion called Kriz. Then the Natural History of Fear, which I remember being the best of them. It's a bit of a weird one. Also, it shows like this alternate dimension, the alternate reality Doctor Who with a different theme tune, which is the theme tune they use from the audiovisual plays, which you can get in the from the show notes. Then the Twilight Kingdom. All I remember of that is it had what's his name? The guy who played Villa from Blake Seven in it. Wasn't bad. Face Stealer, The Last. Oh yeah, all these ones are just kind of forgettable. Cardoria or Kadoria is about leaving is just wrapping up the Divergent Universe arc, and then they get back to reality with the next life, which also has Don Warrington in it, reprising his role as Rassilon. So then after that, Paul McGann gets folded into the regular monthly releases. So the monthly releases are almost always solid, above average, but rarely spectacular. And look, it's even rarer that they're awful, but they're kind of just solid. And there was no kind of arc feeling. It was just like they're part of the rotation they had going on. So you had a few stories there. Terra Firma, interesting Dalek story with Davros. Again, it's been a long time, so I really don't remember it that well. Scaredy Cat, other lives I remember being actually quite good. Time Works also was quite good, but again, none of this had the feeling of a season. All had these are like individual stories. Signing Inside, don't remember at all. Memory Lane was what I remember being actually pretty good, and then the Charlie leaves the Eighth Doctor, and I believe the Eighth Doctor thinks she's dead. Forever. I don't know if you ever find out that she wasn't, because then she ends up being with Colin Baker's Doctor for a bit, which is actually a pretty good pairing. It worked well. So at that point, the Doctor Who had come back on the air, and it was a massive success. And Big Finish wanted to feel like they're contemporary. This range has to be contemporary, has to be moving forward, because they're defining the feeling of this age. So they start something new. It's they do weekly releases at I think Saturdays, and I think they broke their server the first time they did it, with individual 45-minute episodes. And again, it was incredibly contemporary, just incredibly contemporary. And this is where Sheridan Smith comes in as Lucy Miller. Fantastic companion. Great foil for the Eighth Doctor. Because while Charlotte Pollard was very Edwardian and posh, and again, that worked with the frock-coated Edwardian Doctor. Really, Lucy Miller is Sheridan Smith. She's like this mouthy mouthy chap from Blackpool. Essentially, she's very similar to Rose in a lot of ways. And it's a really good companion Doctor pairing. And here we get a season as well. So this is where there's a price jump, because these are newer. They goes from $2.99 to $8.99 a disc, which was whoa. I think they should just be releasing these as box sets these seasons. So this season starts off with Blood of the Daleks Part 1 and 2. I think probably one to date that was at that time it was the best Dalek story that McGann had done, and he'd done a couple. The Horror of Glam Rock had Bernard Crimson. It was really great. It was set in the 70s. Immortal Love also had what was the guy played Hitler? Not Hitler. The other one, Churchill. Really? That's a bit of a bad mistake to make, getting those two mixed up. The guy who plays Churchill, was it Ian McNeice? And then you had Phobos. I don't remember much about Phobos. Was that an Ice Warrior one? I really don't remember. No More Lies is kind of like an interesting character piece. Got Nigel Havers in it, and then the season ends with a two-part Sidemen story, Human Resources, and it's really good. I think this is just when the Sidemen just came back on the TV, and so they took from it the clomping sound as a Sidemen, which really worked well. Also, it was around this time that they put in those Dalek sound effects, which you really haven't heard before, like the whirring and the churning sounds that the Daleks make. So yeah, this is a really great season, and this is the beginning of a few really good. So this is, I'm going to say, the third McGann era had begun here. So their second, they did a few seasons like this. Oh no, first they wrapped up the whole Charlie Pollard, McGann, Doctor Companion pairing with two more like individual releases. That was Absolution. Also got rid of Cariz, I believe, as the companion, and The Girl Who Never Was. That's the one where the Doctor thinks she dies in the end. So then we're back into Lucy Miller's territory, and we got Dead London as the beginning of that season. Maxwell was a really fun one. It's parodying what's that show that BBC also screwed up, Top Gear. Is that Graham Garden was in that one for the first time? I think. Brave New Town, don't remember it. The Skull of Sobek, also don't remember that one so much. And then was it Grand Theft Cosmos? I remember also. Just remember these things being so much fun. That's really the bottom line. And then I think the season finished with the Zygon. We're still going. The Zygon fell to Earth. That was a major plot point for Lucy Miller's character. And also, I think Horror Glam Rock also ties into that one as well. Sisters of the Flame bring in the Sisterhood of Calm years and years before Moffat revived them, and it ends with the Vengeance of Morbius. Strangely enough, not mentioning all those pre Hartnell doctors that people are very convinced they had. Fine. So then the third season again, they keep knocking it out. They have Orbis. It's I don't remember. Orbis was a weird planet they were stuck on. Hot House had Nigel Planer. It was a Krynoid story. The Beast of Orlok. It was. I think it was just a medieval story, with a monster in it. Wirren Dawn, and Scapegoat, the Cannibalists, and then you had a two episode finale. The Eighth Truths and the World Wide Web, which returned the spiders from Planet Spiders. Again, another stonking great solid season. And in the middle of that, they had another release, which is maybe a good place to stick your toes into. Paul McGann. This is called The Company of Friends. It's $12.99. It's 4 individual stories with different companions. This is one with Mary Shelley and who was it? Fitz from the books. Benny and Izzy from the comic book. So you had and it's 4 cute little stories. All of them, it's a good sample packet. So then we have this other one. Lucy is very upset and leaves in Death in Blackpool, which is it's another Christmas story. I think remember it being quite a sad one. So following on that, we have another season where the Doctor's looking for a new companion. It starts off with Situations Vacant, and he's doing this reality show, trying to find a companion. So this is the third season, I would say, or was it third or fourth season of the Lucy Miller ones, even though she's not in at first. So you got so he finds a new companion. Then you have Nevermore, which is an Edgar Allan Poe planet they go to. Book of Kells, and in the Book of Kells we have Lucy Miller. I think she turns up again in it. Then a great Ice Warrior 2-parter called Demios and Resurrection of Mars. That was the shorter season. rounds out the season. Also, Graham Gardner's in it as the meddling monk, and he is fantastic. I loved his meddling monk. Generally speaking, I like all meddling monk in Big Finish. So then we got this other one called An Earthly Child, in which McGann's doctor meets up with Susan, who is now older. Her husband David is dead. Is dead, and she has a human. Was it a human grandson, daughter or son? I can't remember. That's a son. As a human son, and the story is called An Earthly Child. And it's a major plot point. Also, a very good episode. So then we got Relative Dimensions happens after that, which is a another very good Christmas story, which I really like. Then the season continues, and it has like this massive finish. You go Prisoner of the Sun. It's okay, but then you got this really great Lucy Miller, Susan, and Eighth Doctor Dalek meddling monk story called Lucy Miller and To the Death. Probably one of the finest points of Big Finish. Those are really good. But I would, if you want a jumping in point, I would go start from Situations Vacant and just get that season. That season is really strong. Fine. So then they go back to monthly releases again, and we have three releases with Mary Shelley, a much more compelling Mary Shelley than we saw in season 12. This character I kind of liked and was interested in. So that's the Silver Turk, a Cyberman story, The Witch from the Well, and Army of Death. All reasonably good, strong, solid stories. Okay, so at that point, the McGann range reinvents itself once again and moves into box sets. So these box sets are really freaking good. The first one is Dark Eyes. Dark Eyes goes for how many? You get Dark Eyes 1, 2, 3. Okay, so these are 4 box sets. They have 4 stories in each, so it's a 16-part story, and it really is. It's a whole story. You have Alex McQueen as a master. It's a really good fall for the Doctor. The Doctor's got a new costume, and again, you have a feeling that they're moving things forward in a new direction. They're charting out a new course, which is equal and different to the Doctor Who that was on TV at the time. Now, following from Dark Eyes, there's Doom Coalition, which I actually like a lot more than Dark Eyes. No, I thought Dark Eyes was very good. Doom Coalition introduces the villain, the 11, who has this multiple personality. So all his people's incarnations are in his head simultaneously, and he's completely insane. Fantastic villain. And Doom Coalition is putting together this coalition of evil villains for some unknown threat in the future. Probably it's first getting you were getting hints of the Time War coming, and that being introduced into Doctor Who lore at this point. So you got Doom Coalition 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got it introduces Libchenka, who was a companion. Who was it to Sylvester McCoy for? I think one story. Got River Song in it, and as I recall, more Daleks. And then by the end of it, you have like this super one with Rufus Hound's meddling monk in it. Rufus Hound meddling monk, absolutely fantastic. I'd say the only thing better than Graham Gardner's meddling monk is Rufus Hound's one. So then, we got another couple of releases where he's in, which is the New Doctor's New Monsters Old Doctors ranges, which is basically where they put classic Doctors with new serious monsters. There's also a couple of short trips dealing with the beginnings of the Time War, and then that gives way. Then the box sets break into 2 strands simultaneously. You have the Time War box set, and you have the Ravenous box set. Ravenous carries on from Doom Coalition. Time War it's like, again, if you want to start from scratch, you can start there. Those Time War ones, again, all really good. All these box sets are 4 discs each. They're $35, I believe. So you got the Time War strand going on. I think it's coming up to the last one soon. And you also got Ravenous, which is this ancient evil from the beginning of Gallifrey that eats everything. And so that carries on directly from Doom Coalition. What they do interesting that one, they bring in Candyman from Happiness Patrol, but they bring him in as reflected in the script rather than how it was translated onto the screen. Also in this, there's by this time he has two companions. They go much more into individual stories sometimes, but Ravenous ends up with another multi-Doctor arc. They do one more release of Lucy Miller, which is okay. It's kind of a throwback. It's not the best, and I'd say more for completists. The second Time War set is the first one. You introduce his new companion, who's pretty good. The second one, I has a great story in it where you got this Ogron who is who thinks he's a doctor. I think who's imbued with doctorness, and so that's a really good. I really like that story. Also, Julia McKenzie's in it playing the 12, the next incarnation of the 11. See, look, I'm half hour in. I'm just describing one range. That's how much Big Finish there is to get to. So I hope this will help you plow through it and digest. So you got the Time War. The third Time War set is supposed to have had the Valiard in it, and that was a bit disappointing. But at this point, they got into the Big Finish trope of putting something on the cover and have them in like minimally in the set. They're not. Yeah. So Hill's in one story. The entire set should have been based around the resurrection of the Valiard. As that's going on, you had Ravenous finishing up with a multi-master version where he was him versus the War Master, Missy. Who else is there? The one from the McGann movie. Why don't you just look at the cast? Okay, the master. We have Jeffrey Beavers, Michelle Gomez, Derek Jacobi, Eric Roberts. So you got lots of masters, and that one it just really works well. But this time, as I was saying, he has a new companion joining him called Helen Sinclair, who was a researcher from the 60s, played by Hattie Moynihan. I think I've looked at her name. Hattie Moynihan. No, Hattie Morahan, not Moynihan. Morahan. So Ravenous goes up, and they're just about to start their new the new series of box set called Stranded, which is essentially at the end of Ravenous, the Doctor's stranded on Earth with his TARDIS essentially destroyed. The TARDIS is just a shell, and they're waiting for it to regrow. So he's going to be on Earth doing kind of boring, mundane stuff for the next 60 months. So this one, I pre-ordered it. They have enough of a good track record with me that I will take a punt on it. Their next Time War one is coming out soon, I believe, and has Davros in it, and that's basically where we are. That's the McGann Big Finish audio. Where to start? I really like the Lucy Miller stuff. The Lucy Miller stuff is, firstly, it's cheaper. It's like $8 a disc. Was it $8 or $9 a disc? And I think it's kind of like the stronger side of the pairing. But if you want to go like, look, you want to take like a low risk thing, go for any of the $2.99 ones, which there's a lot of good there. But again, you got to remember, it was really contemporary 20 years ago. now, not so much. So again, I hope that's helpful. Hope that's helpful. Let me know if you like this. I will do more breaking down the different ranges to give you like just an idea. Again, there's just a sea of really, really good stuff. And I have to tell you, I actually kind of like the more different stuff that's off the beaten track, which I think might actually be my next video on this. Or maybe, I don't know. Again, there's a lot to go through. That's the thing. Maybe I'll just do. Maybe I'll do all the modern series spin-offs, and so and then do the more out there stuff. Yeah. So that I don't know. Again, but I answer. There is a lot of material to go through. Bye! My name is Phelan Beckett. I hope this has been helpful for you. The Rabbi from Another Planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you can support Big Finish, I just think they're an absolutely wonderful company. I said on my live stream last night, I shield for them shamelessly, but honestly, I just like it. I just genuinely like it. I think they're very, very good. So, is that shilling? I don't know. I'm being honest, okay? I'm being genuinely honest. I really think they're worth your time. If you want to do, you want one like, just to try it out, maybe Invaders from Mars. I'll go for that one. It's a fun adventure. My name's Phelan Beckett, the Rabbi from Another Planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.